Reddit, when did you realise you were actually an arsehole? I was driving home one day and a person in the car next to mine waved to me. I went to wave back and my hand instinctively flipped the other person off instead. All the time I say sarcastic things I think to be funny. But looking back, I realise I'm kind of just being a dick all the time. It's a hard habit to break. Because I was practically ready to tear apart my best friend's relationship just so I could make a move on her myself. I'm a selfish, jealous arsehole. When I heard a woman screaming for help while I was sleeping, I got pissed off, closed my window and went back to sleep. Her husband died. I made a girl cry by making fun of her retarded brother. I basically tore my best friend's wedding apart with bitchy hatred and then realised during that I was being such a dick because they actually truly love each other. And for whatever reason, I just couldn't accept it. If I can't be happy, no one can. I called my ex-girlfriend's friend a bitch, and when she was crying she told me to go apologise. When I went to apologise I said, "I'm sorry, but why do you have to be such a bitch?" I realised I was an arsehole when I thought about how much I meant it. When I realised that I actively tried to pawn off black, Indian and redneck tables on the newer service at my restaurant. I hate to be like that, but after serving for nearly 4 years I don't expect to get a tip from certain people. Who wants to work for no money? Serving has made me a bitter and angry arsehole, unfortunately. When I was getting yelled at by my mom for stealing her credit card and buying a bunch of shit, and all I could think of was when she was going to stop crying and screaming so I could go play with all my new DLC. When my ex and I split, she told me to get all of my stuff out of her place and arranged a time when she wouldn't be there and I was just to leave her house key on the kitchen table and lock the door when I was done. Right when I was ready to walk out the door, I noticed there was some cat shit in the litter box in the hallway. I took out a dinner plate, put about 5 pieces of cat shit on it, put it in her microwave, set it for 20 minutes, pushed start and walked out the door. When management started to take me under their wing, when I stopped making excuses for why I didn't talk to or try to be friendly to people and realised that I just sort of don't give a shit about anybody. When I realised that I have literally 0 girlfriends. Not in an I'm not like the other girls, I play video games and just one of the guys way. I want girlfriends, but every time I get one I lose her within a year. I'm shit. Sometimes I park in handicapped spaces while handicapped people make handicapped faces. When I realised that I filmed all of my videos on my phone vertically. When I started judging everyone in my head and telling myself how much I hate people every day. When I got compared to the janitor from Scrubs. When I had good news and realised I had no one to share it with and no one to blame but myself for it. Turns out that if you push people away for long enough, they stop coming back. The moment my cells divided into my first recognisable feature. And just for context. When I realised that the probability of everyone I encounter being an arsehole is much lower than the chance of me being the arsehole. When I realised I would rather be single than put any actual work into a relationship. The summer after I left secondary school, I spent most of it on my own or with my family and realised how much nicer I was without having any friends around to be a dickhead to. After my tenure in the Air Force, in the line of work I did, you needed extremely thick skin and it took a long time for me to acclimate to regular person life. When I broke up with a girl by sending her a Snapchat of another girl in my bed. When I made fun of my only real friend's weight and doing it more than once, I promised myself to never do it again. I got in touch with my morbid sense of humour. Also, I made a guildmate on WoW cry because she called my friend a whore, and I proceeded to point out every flaw in her personality that I have ever observed. Quietly, my friend got down on his hands and knees behind a girl who was standing in the hallway. He smiled at me. The old tabletop gag. I didn't even hesitate to push her backward. She was like 90 pounds and wearing 3-inch heels and immediately burst into tears. Not cool, man.